Okay, today I want to talk a little bit about one of the other benefits of a good burn program, a good prescribed burning program, and that is when you're marking timber, you really need to be able to access your property. And this is a good example of not keeping a stand burned like you need to. This was probably 5 years since the last burn, 5 or 6 years. And you can see it's just an absolute nightmare. And I'm having to go through it and get to every tree and mark the ones that need to come out. As you can tell, this yaupon is probably, I don't know, 15, 18 feet tall, some of it. It's dead from the ground up, but from the ground down, of course, the roots are still there, still alive. And you can see this is probably, I don't know, we burned this 1st of May, I believe, maybe 1st or 2nd week of May. Anyway, it's almost the 1st of July, and you can see we've got about 6 or 7, 10 inches of growth on the yaupon sprouting back. If we hadn't burned it, I would not be able to get through this stuff. But since we've burned it, at least I can kind of see through it, and it's a true nightmare getting through it, but it can be done. So, also wanted to show you what I'm taking out. In this particular case, we've got some stuff that's chip and saw and pulpwood sized, and we're leaving the ply logs. This one may actually make a pole, but ply logs and poles are the ultimate goal. That's a good example of a telephone pole, or what will become a telephone pole. Specs in my area for poles are 13.5 inches in diameter at 6 feet, and 40 feet or more before you hit the first limb. And that one definitely is more than 40 feet to the first limb, and it is straight as an arrow, which is the final spec. Beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, poles bring the most. Ply logs are next on the list as far as the next highest amount. This is going to be a ply log, I believe. It's got some dead limbs hanging on up there. And then chip and saw, and then pulpwood. Anyway, so we're targeting removal of pulpwood and remaining pulpwood. A lot of it was taken out with the first thinning. This is the second thinning. Stand is 27, 28 years old. And taking out what was left of the pulpwood and a good bit of chip and saw, and leaving as much of the ply logs and poles as possible for final harvest, which we will be doing here. In 5 or 6 years, we're going to be doing final harvest. But you can see the nightmare that is something that hadn't been burned, and we just burned it this past May, the first time in probably 5 or 6 years. And just a good example. If we'd have burned this about 3 years ago, all this stuff that's dead now would be falling down and been burned up in the current burn. So I'd be in much better shape as far as being able to get through this stuff. But that's what I wanted to show you today. So stay tuned for more management videos.